Tom Conerly. I'm running for Orange Beach City Council, Place 1. I've been here since in Orange Beach since permanently since 2015. We bought our home here in 2009. Interestingly enough, my wife and I were both deployed to Iraq at the time and bought our house from Iraq. That was a whole different experience I can tell you about later. But my in-laws have lived down here for quite a number of years, so we're very familiar with the Orange Beach area. I've been here for 25, 30 years coming down here. I am running for City Council. I've never run for political office. This is my first time, but it is the time, I believe, for me to run. I care deeply about our community. This is my home. Like everybody else says, we love Orange Beach. And so what platform am I running? First and foremost, as I've been out talking with the community and they share my feelings about this, everyone I've talked to, we want to preserve and protect the family-friendly brand that Orange Beach has worked so hard to obtain. I think that's very important to our community. We also, and the buzzword right now is controlled growth. We've had a tremendous amount of growth since I've been here permanently for the last 10 years. And it's easy to say, just say no, but that's not the answer. It's much more complicated than that. But you're going to have growth. We should balance growth with the preservation of our residential neighborhoods and our unique coastal environment. Those are very, very, very important. And above all else, safety, security, and cleanliness. And I don't think that you can look around anywhere besides Orange Beach and find what we have here. I don't boast about it too much, but I think it's important that people know. I am retired from the United States Army, 30 plus years, actually 30 years, 6 months and 17 days, but who was counting? I retired as a full bird colonel, 06, multiple deployments overseas. I served with and deployed with all three components of the Army. Many people don't know there are three components, but there is National Guard, U.S. Army Reserves, and then active duty. Had multiple overseas deployments to include in the combat theater, actually three deployments for Iraq, two in the country of Iraq. So I bring a whole 30 years worth of military experience and growth through the military in various positions to the table. In addition to that, while I was in the National Guard and the Reserves, I had a lot of civilian experiences. I worked for 12 years for the Mississippi State Department of Health's Division of Water Supply. I started the Waterworks Operator Certification Program there in 1987. Then I moved up to Director of Monitoring and Training and Certification, running that whole program for them for over 2,000 certified waterworks operators. Then was moved up to the Director of Compliance and Enforcement, enforcing the Safe Drinking Water Act for all 1,500 public water systems in the state of Mississippi. So I've got a lot of experience working with EPA, the state, and local water systems and the public there. I've done a myriad of other things in my lifetime. At one time I was a firefighter. I was a certified smoke diver from the Mississippi Fire Academy. I was a deputy sheriff a reserve deputy sheriff in Hinds County, Mississippi. And here in Orange Beach, since I've gotten here in 2015, I took the job, or I applied for the job in 2017, I guess it was, for the first full-time animal control officer. And I did that to start the trap, neuter, and return program to control the feral and stray cat population that was occurring here. And there's a long story behind all that, but that is the only proven effective method to control these colonies of feral and stray cats. We got it started here. It took some convincing of the City Council and Mayor Kennan to start that program, but we did, and it was quite successful. It was so successful that Gulf Shores decided that they would like for me to come help them get started. I did that. Foley then decided to get it started, so I went up and helped them. Then I formed the Safe Harbor Animal Coalition, which many people may be familiar with. We built a spay-neuter clinic in Foley. At one point, we were doing 75 surgeries, spay and neuter surgeries a day up there, not just on cats, but on cats and dogs for rescues and for the city TNR programs, which since has expanded to Robertsdale and basically the entire county. I have several. I am an animal advocate, of course, and so I am really wanting to do some things to improve our quality of life for not only our people here, but also our animal population, to include our domestic pets. I do have some ideas about improving our dog parks, our dog park, and maybe even expanding that. But you know, we've got I hear a lot of people talking about tourism and particularly residents who are maybe anti-tourist or don't quite understand the impact that the tourists have on our community. I don't think you can go anywhere else, north, west, or east, and find a community that has the amenities that we have, and it's because of the tourist population. We could not sustain that with 8,000 people population. We could not sustain what we have here. So I need to start educating people, but also that balance. You know, we've got to balance tourism, progress, and quality of life for our residents here. That's one thing. The other is that city employees are really the people who make all this happen. And let's look at some incentives to attract and retain the top-notch city employees that we already have. But as you have turnover, you know, times have changed and expenses are up, and so let's do that. Let's have some incentives, and let's also reward our employees who dedicate decades, if you will, of their life, their working life, to making this city what it is. That's another thing. There's so many other projects that we can do to continue to build on the great work that the city's already done, just to continue to improve the quality of life for our residents. Well, it is a great question, and it is the hot topic, I think, among all of our communities down here in lower Baldwin County. And we've seen tremendous growth, especially in the last 10 years we've seen it. Growth is inevitable. There's an old saying, if you're either growing or you're dying, right? And so we don't want to die, obviously. But controlled growth, I think that's where everybody needs to focus. And what does that mean? It's a lot of a negotiation that goes into that. We tend to, in Orange Beach, be a buy right community. In other words, if you buy property, you have certain rights under the current zoning when you purchase that property. If you bought a lot that is zoned for residential, then you fully expect to build a residential facility on that property. If you bought a lot that was zoned condo, you bought it expecting to build a condo. And so then you get into densities and how many persons you can put on it. Those are the negotiating, some of the negotiating topics that you can have. So we have to have controlled growth. And we also, as I said, we have to balance that, which is progress. We have to balance that growth with conservation and preservation of our unique coastal environment down here and the preservation of our neighborhoods, our residential neighborhoods. You also have to have proactive infrastructure development, and by that, not reactive, not let it get into a deficit, but let's have proactive, let's look at it, really study. Just like the city is now, we have a 9-month moratorium on for multifamily facilities, if you will. So no building right now until they can get a study done to show what does the infrastructure need to be to support the expected growth. Those are the right steps to go by. Can we extend that moratorium? Possibly. Do we need to? Don't know. Haven't seen the results of the study and won't until probably around December. But this is a very hot topic and something that we as the elected representatives of our community, the residents, need to stay on top of continuously.